Coming up on First at 4, one Eastern Kentucky post office is up and running again 4.5 months after the flood. Plus, today marks the 10-year anniversary of the Sandy Hook school shooting in Connecticut.
Plus, we're not done with the showers yet, but there is light at the end of this tunnel. The latest on when the mercury takes a nosedive, too, coming up as First at 4 continues.
Mountain News First at 4 continues.
Rain continues to fall across the region, but fortunately it's not been too heavy, at least so far. We remain in a first alert weather day. For the latest, let's check in with meteorologist Evan Hatter. Evan.
That's right, Steve. Looking at our various, locations throughout the state, the one closest to an inch right now, Middlesboro at 0.99. Everybody else, about 0.7 is the highest total so far. That's 0.7 inches since midnight. You see Slade right now seeing plenty of, actually Slade's seeing a break, but you can still see the wet roads there on the Mountain Parkway, Buffalo Mountain here in Perry County. Plenty of cloud cover and shower activity continues there as well. 52 in Hazard, 51 Jackson, and into Prestonsburg as well. A little milder off to the west. London, Manchester at 55, Somerset's at 54, Harlan right now at 53. And you see the heaviest concentration of rain along the Kentucky-Tennessee line. In fact, we'll pan that over a little so you can see the highest area, or at least the heaviest rainfall right now. Northern parts of McCreary County, just south of the Campbell County line there with Anderson County, Tennessee, and into Union County, Tennessee as well. So everything here, though, moving off to the north and east, and you see that break across the Kentucky River Valley, but that's going to fill in over the next little bit. You see more moisture from the south and west continues to move on into the region. The back edge of this frontal boundary is still out into portions of Missouri, so we're not done with this just yet. Now, coming up in a little bit, I'll have the latest on when rain finally pushes out and when we can see temperatures feeling a little more like wintertime in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thanks. 4.5 months following the historic flood, a staple within the Hindman community of Knott County is up and running again after being destroyed. WYMT's Alyssa Williams has more.
Both Hindman post office employees and community members are excited to be walking through the post office doors once again. With July's flood leaving severe water damage throughout the building, the Hindman post office had to close its doors to both the public and its employees, forcing community members to travel to Hazard to pick up mail and causing employees to work from the Hazard location as well.
We'd have to get up 5 o'clock in the morning, and go to work, but we could do it. I've been here this a long time. We've seen 31 inches of snow and we wind and sleet, and there ain't nothing supposed to stop the mail except high water.
Post office employees say although the first day back is a little hectic so far, they are thrilled to be back home. In Hindman, Alyssa Williams, WYMT Mountain News.
Although the Hindman Post Office has officially opened its doors today, they will host a ribbon-cutting ceremony Monday at 11. On Capitol Hill, members of Congress say they have reached an agreement on funding the government. Lawmakers have until midnight Friday to prevent a shutdown. They are expected to pass a short-term funding bill so they can finish work on a larger deal next week. Here's what Senator Mitch McConnell had to say about it.
Our side has made it clear that the Senate has until December the 22nd to complete either a full-year funding bill or a short-term CR into early next year. That's the deadline, and those are the two options.
Senator McConnell called the deal broadly appealing. House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy says he is staunchly against it. Today marks 10 years since the mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. 20 children and 6 educators were murdered by a young man using an assault rifle. Since then, there have been more than 4,000 mass shootings in the United States. CBS's Nikki Petit sat down with 2 parents who each lost a child and are fighting to make schools safer.
The morning of December 14th, 2012 would be the last time Nicole Hockley and Mark Barden ever saw their youngest children, 6-year-old Dylan Hockley and 7-year-old Daniel Barden.
Dylan was this gorgeous little boy with these gigantic blue eyes. He was just an absolute joy. I still can't wrap my head around that it's 10 years.
On the last day of Daniel's life, he asked me to show him something on the piano. So I taught him how to play Jingle Bells. That was in the last few hours of his life.
1 month later, they helped launch Sandy Hook Promise, a nonprofit focused on protecting America's children from gun violence.
Look for warning signs and threats.
Its Know the Signs programs teach children and adults how to identify at-risk behaviors and intervene to get help. More than 23,000 schools nationwide use the programs, which the group says have helped stop at least 11 credible planned school shooting attacks.
We're focused on what we call upstream violence prevention. How do we, at the earlier end of that scale, intervene and get help?
They found an ally in Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy.
For me, the last 10 years has been about trying to rattle this country.
A new study shows the U.S. has reached its highest number of gun deaths in nearly 30 years, with a recent 20% jump. And since Sandy Hook, there have been more than 4,200 mass shootings, 38 of them at schools. Earlier this year, the bipartisan Safer Communities Act was signed into law, 1 month after 19 students and 2 teachers were murdered at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas.
Find a path forward here.
Murphy and Republican Senator John Cornyn from Texas wrote the legislation. It's the most significant gun-related law in 30 years and includes enhanced background checks for people 18 to 21. It also invests money in mental health resources and red flag laws, which led authorities to take guns from people deemed dangerous.
Is it enough?
It doesn't solve the epidemic, but it saves thousands of lives.
Has your work in this journey you took on together helped in the healing process?
That's a tough one. Yes. I mean, short answer, yes.
It's helping because it's providing a legacy and impact and change, but it's also constantly re-traumatizing.
Both want people to remember how their sons' lives were violently ended and make sure it never happens to any child ever again. Nikki Batiste, CBS News, Newtown, Connecticut.
There have been gun control changes at the state level too since Sandy Hook. The number of states requiring background checks on all handgun sales went from 14 to 21. 17 states added red flag laws and 6 have banned assault rifles, including Connecticut. Coming up, as First at 4 continues, Oreo is coming out with a new flavored cookie.
Plus, the weather stays wet as we head into the next couple of days. I mean, you see the numbers already. The changes are on the way. Details in a few.